Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so thanks everyone. I'm just gonna say a few words in Portuguese because I know that a lot of people that are here are from Brazil. So, pessoal, boa noite a todos. Obrigado por estarem aqui. Por favor, se vocês tiverem perguntas, a gente sabe que muitas vezes a compreensão do inglês é mais rápida do que a fala. Então, se vocês quiserem mandar questões também em português, depois eu passo para a Tânia em inglês. E esse vídeo também depois ele vai estar disponível no YouTube, legendado em português, para quem estiver aqui, quiser encaminhar para os amigos, gostar da conversa e quiser encaminhar. So thanks everyone for being here. Tonight we're with Tanya. She's from Lebanon, Austria. She's going to talk a little bit about that as well. And this conversation is part of a bigger project. Actually, it's an exhibition that is in the Museum of Photography of Curitiba in Paraná, Brazil. And we have this project that we have the exhibition that Tanya is participating along with Eduardo Macarius, who is here. He's saying hi as well. So welcome, Macarius. And this exhibition also have a lot of conversations going that are happening along with the main show. So one of these conversations is the one that we're having tonight, Finding Home Through Photography, and is about the work, Tanya's work. She's gonna share with us a little bit of her process and how she has built the series that we are showing in the museum. So in the museum, we have these two artists, Tanya and Macarius. I'm showing them along, and they are in two different rooms. I'm curating the exhibition. My name is Milena, by the way. I haven't introduced myself yet. So we have these two rooms and two different projects that are happening. Tanya's project is about how she is looking for home through the photographies of her family, through the memories of her family, migration, and how she connects herself through these histories of migration and diaspora around the world. And she's gonna share with us a little bit about that. And Macarius' work is about how he has been doing some research with his family photographies as well. So he has a book called Vadad, is about his grandmother and how she migrated to Brazil and her experience coming from Lebanon to Brazil and all the things that she has faced and her experiences. And also we are showing the museum a series of more contemporary pictures of Macarius about Lebanon, contemporary Lebanon. And Macarius and Tanya, they met each other while he was in Lebanon doing the images that you can see in the museum. And after they met, actually, when Macarius came back to Brazil, he told me, oh, you have to meet this artist. Her name is Tanya, and she's super nice. And our works connect in so many ways. So I want you to show you her book. And then he gave me one of her book, and I was so in love with her work that I told him, and I called Tanya and I said, let's try to come up with a project and show both of your works together here in Brazil. So we started this project actually a few years ago, and the pandemic came and everything just went very crazy around the world, and our project was suspended for a few months, and we tried to set up the exhibition during last year and we were not able to do so. Actually, there were two different dates that the museum called us and said, okay, now we're going to have the opening, and we didn't have the chance to do so. But now the exhibition is officially on and is open to the public. And I hope that a few of you are going to be able to go by the museum and see this exhibition here in Curitiba. So you can visit the museum, and of course there are some restrictions. There are not a lot of people that can be there at the same time, but I'm sure that you are going to have no problems seeing our work there. So Tanya is going to start her talk, and she asked me to ask her some questions along the way.
We will talk together.
We will talk together. But she's going to start her presentation, and she's going to show you guys a few images of her work. And if you have any questions, please write us in the chat, and we're gonna be answering along our talk. And if we are not able to do so at the end, we're gonna have a few minutes to read everything, and we're gonna answer as many questions as we can. And so you guys know, Tanya is 4 hours ahead of us. So it's pretty late there. That's why we started our talk a little bit earlier than usual here in Brazil. And we are gonna have about 40 or 50 minutes of conversation here with you guys. So Tanya, welcome, and thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me and for having this amazing exhibition. I saw a few of the photos that you sent to me, and it looks really, really nice, of the space and everything. It's really, really nice.
I'm glad you liked, because you're supposed to be here, right? This is something that we didn't tell everyone, but you're supposed to come to Brazil, and it didn't happen.
Because of the virus, so yeah. Well, I brought a selection of photos that are partly shown in Curitiba. I brought a bit more. I don't know, Milena, how many photos are shown? How many photos, not the scans and the archive, but the photos?
The photos, we have 8 pictures.
In the exhibition,
yeah,
8
pictures.
Yeah, I brought a bit more just to have a bit of more insight, because also on my website I don't have too many photos up. And yeah, basically the series is about the notion of home and what home means, and if you can actually define it or find it. At least for me, I'm having a hard time to define the notion of home. And I think you can create your home, but maybe you can't, maybe you're not rooted in one place, especially nowadays, you know. So I was exploring this topic because it's been a subject in my life since the beginning, basically. So just as a quick introduction about myself, my mom is Austrian, my dad was Lebanese. I'm born in Austria. I grew up in Lebanon for the first 7 years of my life. And then we moved to Austria. My mom decided she wants us to grow up in a peaceful country because there was a civil war back then in Lebanon. So in 1983, we moved back to Austria. My dad was between the two countries. So that's how I grew up, basically quite, I mean, also during the first 7 years, I was moving a lot between I was traveling a lot between Austria and Lebanon, because we used to spend summers in Austria and the rest of the year in Beirut. And actually you see a slide here of me and my mom. I was, I think, 2 years old, and this is on the seaside in Beirut. I really like this photo because it's very comforting. I find it very comforting. Okay, so now I have a frozen screen, Milena. I don't know why, but I can't forward to the next slide. Oh, wow. I had it before, and I don't know why.
I didn't change anything. If you wanna, yeah. Now it has changed.
I'm just gonna do it this way. I think the full screen is a bit problematic.
Yes, so, my computer sometimes full screen doesn't work. So if you wanna do it like that, it's fine with us.
Like this. Yeah. So in the series, I photographed. In the series, I photographed with a medium format camera on medium format film. And I also used a lot of my family archive that my mother, my grandmother, and my great-grandmother collected over the decades. And they used to also photograph a lot, film a lot. And I basically inherited the whole archive. I have it here in the back. I don't know if you see in the corner the boxes. It's like 6 boxes of. Here, it's my family archive. And so I was always very intrigued by archives and old photos and and the past, because I spend a lot of time as a child looking through the archives. So it was obvious that I had to use part of my archive in this series and in the book, which you will see later on. So I'm just going to show you a few bit of material from the series. The slides, I photographed them actually. I didn't scan them. I photographed them on a light table, and then I cut them out of the background basically. So I could use them anywhere and they would look like they really lie on the background that I placed it on, like in the book, for example. And I don't know why it's not, yeah. This is a part of a letter that my grandmother, I think, wrote to, we don't know who. It was a quite mysterious letter. And I found it interesting to use it in the book because it's not very clear who she's writing to and what she's writing about. It was during the time where they were basically hiding from the Nazis, kind of, because my great-grandfather was in the resistance. So they had to hide somewhere. And this letter was kind of a message to someone, or it was not very clear, and I found it very interesting and really wanted to include it. Unfortunately, I don't have any grandparents anymore, so I can't ask them about the details. Unfortunately, I would have so many questions, but unfortunately, I don't really have anyone to ask about the past. So this is a photo that I took, and it's in the house in Beirut that I grew up in, and that it's the bed I was conceived in by my parents. And it still exists now. It's been 2 years. I don't live in this house anymore, but I lived for quite a while. In the past 10 years, I lived there, and I took many photos for the series also in this house because it has a lot of memories and emotional value also. Yeah, and the travels I did as a child were between Lebanon and going to Lebanon from Austria and back and forth, especially during the summer. And my mom used to really document these trips. And this on the left, you see a car, which was her car, that was transported by the ferry boat. We took the ferry boat to Italy to go back to Austria, for example, from Beirut. And we used to take our stuff with us and then, for example, get off the ferry boat and continue by car. So it was a really rich, exciting childhood that I had. That's on the right. It's my father sitting in a restaurant. He was quite young. I don't know which year it was. In Beirut. I don't know, unfortunately, which cafe, and I can't ask him. He's not alive anymore, unfortunately. So, and facing this is a cafe that I really love. And it's called Café Rauda in Beirut. I go there a lot when I'm there, and I used to go there as a child also because my kindergarten was right next to it, the German kindergarten that I attended. And I took this photo because also the white empty screen intrigued me a lot. I think it was meant to be a projection for football games. I don't know, a few years ago, there was maybe some kind of World Cup or something. I really don't know about football, but it was used to project football games. And it really intrigued me during the day. Everything was empty, weirdly, also the cafe and the screen. And it's actually one of my favorite photos of the series. This is a letter. I can't, unfortunately, I never learned to read Arabic, which is sad. I still can, but it's so hard. And it's a letter, I think, to my dad or from my dad. I don't know really. These are my grandparents from my mom's side. My grandfather was actually from Berlin. So we have quite, my great-grandmother was from Czech Republic, from former Czech Republic, she was actually from the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. And I think it's really important to use our archives to understand your past and where you come from and why you are the way you are. I think it's really important, and I think archives help you a lot to understand the past and your ancestors, basically, and the past, what happened to them is probably transmitted also to you partly, and it forms you as a person. So I think it's always nice to have the possibility to look at your family archive. Do you have any questions, Milena?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay.
I think you're doing super well. I don't want to interrupt.
Right. Please interrupt if you want to know anything.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, I like this photo. It's my grandfather on the right here. He was a child. It was in 1917. He was actually born in 1913, and this is in Berlin. I really like this photo. It's with his mom and with his sister. And I would love to know more about it, but I don't know who to ask, unfortunately. Here you have a photo of the lake. Actually, right now I'm in the south of Austria because I'm born in the south of Austria, not in Vienna. And we have a big lake. And this is a photo of the lake and of someone that I don't know sitting by the lake. It's quite relaxing. I also used, I didn't mention, I also used objects that have a kind of value for me in terms of memory and souvenirs, or memory basically. Like on the left, on the upper left, you see old Super 8 movies of my childhood that my mom filmed. It's the rolls. I don't know if you can really see it properly in the photo here. It's a bit small probably, but it's these big rolls of film, you know, and it's still the film, the Super 8 without sound. So all I have from my childhood is images and silent movies. I don't know how my voice sounded, for example. And today for children, it's very normal to see themselves on videos and to hear their voices, but I would love to hear my voice as a child. And my mom told me I used to talk a lot as a child and record a tape with my voice. And I listened to that tape so much that at the end it just didn't work anymore. And I wish I had this tape. I just wish I had it to hear myself talk. I don't know in what language I was speaking, mainly probably French and German, I think, because I used to speak French with my dad and I speak German with my mom, but I don't know. And I also included many landscapes and nature, because it's just, I think aesthetically, I really like to photograph landscapes and nature, and there aren't many people in my photos because I don't know, I think I like to photograph the absence of something probably. So I don't have any. I have here a photo of two people turned away actually from me, because I thought it's more interesting to wonder who they are, what they're doing, why they're there. This is also it's the, how do you call it? It's a beach in Beirut, within Beirut, and it's also very old and it has a very nostalgic feel to it. It has a lot of history also. So that was the series itself, and I made a book of it. Hold on. This is a spread of the book. This is another spread of the book. So I really mixed the archival photos with the photography, and here are a few making of images. I worked with a very interesting graphic design studio on the book in Beirut. And we worked on the book for about 1 year, which was really, really nice. We had a lot of fun. It was not work, it was like an art project more for us. So we used to meet like maybe once a week and work on the selection of the images, and also the binding was very important. Here you see me on the left over the spreads that we chose from. On the right is a computer screen with a scan that I worked on. And below on the right, you see me in the printing house, actually, with the last proof that we checked for the colors and everything. It was really, really exciting to work on a book.
Tanya, Macarius is asking, how did you choose the cover of the book?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. It's actually my friend Lara, who's on the book. Who's on the cover, sorry. She's also a photographer and she's a doctor at the same time. She has also amazing work, and I always found her extremely photogenic and interesting. She has a very interesting face, and people actually think that we look alike, kind of. So I thought it wasn't a planned to have her on the cover. We decided later on when we saw the photo that this should be the cover. I don't know why. It just spoke to me and to us, to the designers as well. Also, I don't know if you can see it very well. Her skirt is kind of blown up from below, which was a coincidence because literally the wind blew into her skirt the moment I took the photo. So I really like this specific moment, and her expression also, and the background and everything. So
and I also find that it's very interesting because she looks a lot like you. I mean, we haven't met in person, but I always thought that she looked a lot like you.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You mentioned before that most of the pictures that you make, there are no people in the images.
Yeah.
And when you have people, I mean, we are always looking to the world through your eyes. I know this is a very basic conversation when you're talking about photography, but in your work, we are actually kind of like, we really look to the world through your eyes, the way you photograph. And because of the absence of people, it seems that we are alone with you, and we are looking at the same direction that you're looking to as well.
Yeah.
And it's funny how this person that is your friend comes along as you, but it's not really you. So in a way, it's the first time that we see you in the pictures, but through your own eyes. So I don't know if it got very confusing.
It makes sense. I did include, I think I have one self-portrait in the book. I don't know why I didn't add it. I can see if I have it in the folder. Let me just see. I added this one because it actually, hold on, maybe it's here. No, it's not here, unfortunately. But so how do I get back to the, I wanted to add that one. It's a portrait of myself in a green next to the forest, wearing a red jacket, and it was actually taken by my mom. I mean, I fixed the camera and everything, and I told her how to press the button. But I set it up because it was 2 hours after we knew that my dad had passed away. And I was in Austria, he was in Lebanon. He had died in Lebanon alone, basically. And we were in Austria preparing to go back to Lebanon to the funeral. And I wanted to take that photo, and I wanted to include it in the book also. I don't know, Milena, if you know which one I mean. If you have the book. Do you have a book, actually?
Yeah, I have a book, but it's not with me right now. So
I have what picture you're talking about. I find it.
Do you have it? Okay.
I don't know if I can find it that fast now. I guess not, because I also don't know it by heart. And here it is. Okay, I will try to show it somehow. This is the picture. Can you see?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So that's, and actually there's another self-portrait. I did a few self-portraits, but also from far, never close up or with many people. I think it has to do with myself. Also in general, I don't really like crowds and hectic and commotion. So I guess it reflects in my work as well.
Yes, absolutely. And I have a comment slash question for you. It's from Anna. She says that this exhibition made her want to create a project with her family's photographs. And she says that it's very beautiful to see how Tanya and Macarius deal with these memories in such different ways, creating layers that make us imagine who these people were. It makes me want to meet your families.
Yeah, I want to meet my families too. Yeah, that's a nice, I'm just reading the comments. Yeah. So nice. Okay, so that was about the book. Anything more you want to talk about?
No, I was just gonna come back to the process of creating the book and editing. I wanted to ask you how many people worked with you, and you said that it was a lot of fun. But can you share with us a little bit about how the criterias were? Because it seems that you have a lot of information in these archives. How did you choose what was going to be in the book, what was not going to be in the book?
It was a long process, actually. This was part of the process. We test printed everything on the normal office printer. We had a huge selection of photos and scans, and we just printed everything that we had, and then we made the selection. Here you see on the left where I'm standing and looking on all the papers on the floor. That was basically how we used to work at home or in the studio office, in the office of the graphic design studio. And it was a long process because we exchanged the photos, and then a week later maybe we exchanged it again. You know, it was not, we didn't know right away which photos we would really include. It was back and forth, and we reduced also the amount of photos by a lot. There was also the process of scanning the archive in high res, which was a lot of work. It took a lot of time. What else? Then the cover, there were different designs, suggestions, until we decided on that cover that is now the book. It was, I worked with basically two people, with Hatem and Maya from Beirut. They are the owners of the studio. And we worked it was like, I mean, they are friends, so we worked among friends, basically. So it was really fun and interesting. And it was a bit sad when we were done. So yeah, we didn't know what to do now. It was sad, but it was like giving birth to a project, you know.
And let me ask you another thing. It's more out of curiosity, but you edited this book in Lebanon. Do you think it would have made a difference if you had edited in Austria? Do you think was it important for you being in Lebanon? I mean, was it a choice that you made consciously, or it just happened?
No, it was definitely a choice that I made, because until now, for me, Lebanon is the place that inspires me and that gives me a kind of comfort despite everything that's happening and that happened. It's still the place I feel the most myself in. I feel the closest to myself in Lebanon. So it was very important to to produce and to edit this project in Lebanon, in Beirut also, to be there and to work with people from there. Austria is my home too, but I mean, Lebanon is different. It's deeper, I think. Maybe because of the extremes that are happening constantly there. Like you have beauty and ugliness in one place all the time, you know. So I think it's very intense, and it's a big inspiration for many people, I guess.
Yeah, it's very interesting what you're saying, because Lebanon is, although you live in between these two countries, as you mentioned, because we were talking the other day, through the phone, and then you said that you're definitely gonna go back to Lebanon, even though things are getting very ugly there, and the future is very uncertain, and how important for you is to be there and create artwork there.
It is, and it is now even more difficult to be away. Because I don't know if people are aware of what's happening in Lebanon, but it's going really, really bad. The economy is not good, and politically it's not good. After the big explosion in the port in summer, things really became really bad, and we don't know where it's going. And now for me, I've been in Austria now for the first time longer than a month away from Lebanon in 17 years. So I've been here since September, which is 5 months. Usually I come here for 5 weeks or so, you know. But now I'm here for 5 months because I felt I needed to recover a bit from what had happened. So it's difficult, it's very difficult. And I'm waiting for the vaccine now to go back. I'm getting the vaccine in Austria, and then I will go back and be there, because I really miss it. It's really difficult to be away.
Yeah, I asked Tanya to bring a few pictures of the more contemporary Lebanon, and if she had new pictures of Lebanon, of Beirut after the explosions, because she was there when it happened. And she has a few pictures to share with us that we can understand the landscape, how the landscape has changed. Because in her work, as she mentioned before, the landscape's a big deal, nature, and how the setting happens, and how like the geography moves and changes. So I was very curious, and fortunately enough, she had some images to share with us. I was very curious to understand how the landscape around her home and how she would see the world after the explosions. So she's gonna share with us some images that are related, of course, in a way to the series she shared with us before, but they are new images, and images that were somehow disconnected of that series, but now make a different sense when we understand what just happened in Lebanon.
Yeah, so these photos that I'm gonna show now, this photo is still part of the Lost Strange Things, but what you can see is the white structure on the left middle of the image. That is the thing that actually exploded in August. And the photos that you're gonna see now are taken with my phone after the explosion, when I used to go help my friends clean up their apartments. So I took this photo. This is after the explosion. It's the same white silo that you see here, that we saw here, the white thing that you see, just from a different angle. And I don't know if I don't know, Milena, should I try the full screen again? I'm just afraid it's gonna...
Sure. Yeah, just try it.
Small, yeah. So this is taken from one of my favorite places. It's called the waterfront in Beirut. You see the city, the skyline, and you see the sea. You're close to the sea. Well, yeah, I don't know what to say much to this image. Yeah, it works. So here are just a few glimpses of what I saw after it happened. On the left is the office of my friend that got completely destroyed and that also had to leave her office space. She's also a graphic designer. On the right, you see Galerie Tanit. It's a quite renowned gallery in Beirut. Was also, all these are in the district that was affected the most by the explosion. So everything was destroyed, basically. Yeah. And also the details you find when you clean up a place that is not your place is very, it's a bit disturbing as well, because you feel you're entering the person's privacy, although even if it's your friend, it still doesn't make a difference. It's like you're entering the private space of that person because everything is destroyed. It's totally vulnerable, totally opened. Also, not having windows, it's just something not nice, you know. When the windows are blown out, you feel completely exposed and unprotected. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say yet to these images because they're still sitting on my desktop and I'm not really looking at them either because it's quite hard to look at them. Now it's freezing, it's frozen again. The screen is frozen. There is one more photo I have.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, maybe
it's interesting how you mentioned that when you enter your friends' homes and that these homes were destroyed, and how you felt that it was very vulnerable and that you're entering their privacy. And
yeah.
I think it's very interesting when you said that, because we actually had that image of a picture on the floor. So it
Yeah.
also seems that this explosion, it's like their archives were everywhere. And how, like, sometimes we hide these archives, or it takes us a while until we decide to open them, and this explosion just blew everything.
It brought things out that are very personal, like vibrators and stuff, you know, where you saw things that are usually private and hidden away, and it was, I mean, there were people coming, random people coming to help, you know, which is nice. But at the same time, it's very, I mean, it is difficult for the person, because they come into your space and you don't know these people, you know, or at least they're not close friends. Yeah. So it was very difficult. Yeah, but it's being rebuilt and people are just amazing. It's very impressive. The spirit of the Lebanese people is very impressive. Yeah. I don't want to use the word resilient, because we don't want to be resilient anymore, but really Lebanese people are very strong with everything they're, especially now, living through. It's very impressive.
Yeah, I can imagine. Everyone, if you have any questions, please send us, just write them on the chat, because we have about 10 minutes left. So now it's the time for you to just leave your comments, questions, and we will read them out loud, and Tanya is gonna answer them. One thing that I wanted to let you know, for the people that are gonna be able to go to the exhibition, is that Tanya's book and Eduardo Macario's book, we were gonna to exhibit this both books, but because of the pandemic, and like it's hard to exhibit something that people need to touch constantly. So what we did is that we have a video of the books, so we can see all the pages of the books, which is very interesting. So especially for people who are here in Brazil and cannot buy Tanya's book, don't have access to her book, you can see the full book in the exhibition. It's the same with Macarius, but we have a few copies of his book in my gallery and some other places if you guys are interested on getting to know his work as well. So this is something that I wanted to share. And if you have any questions about the exhibition also, please share with us or send us, and we'll be happy to answer them. Tanya, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
I mean, I'm happy I was able to talk about this and my work, because I'm sad I can't be there in person. It really looks so beautiful. And I'm thankful for the people who are here, that they're interested in my work and listening to me. Yeah, and thank you, Milena, for everything, and your team that are doing an amazing job in all this pandemic chaos that we have.
It's been everywhere. a long way, but we finally got it settled and it's open to the public. We're so relieved.
1 year, remember? You were actually still saying, no, you can come, you know, and I'm like, no, I don't want to come. And 2 weeks later, everything was closed.
Yes, exactly. Can you imagine if I had come? Oh my God.
I would have been stuck there for several months. I guess.
You would.
You wouldn't have been so happy, I guess.
So we have a question here. Miriam is saying that she's thanking you for sharing your work, and she's also asking if you have a new project that you're working on.
Hi, Miriam. I have, honestly, right now, I'm not specifically working on any new project. I have these images that you've seen, the last ones of the post-explosion images, that I definitely want to use at some point for something, but I don't know yet how, and it's quite delicate. I don't want to use them and take advantage of the situation that happened. So I have to think of a way, of an angle to approach the whole subject. I also found, it's a different topic now. I found, my mom gave me my great-grandmother's cookbook, where she used to write her recipes in. And it's like a treasure, and I want to do something with it. I want to do something, maybe republish it in a kind of way, including her handwritings. I don't know yet. That's on my mind. And other than that, for now, I just have a feeling that so much happened in the past 1.5 years, since in Lebanon the revolution started in October 2019. So much has happened, and I feel quite overwhelmed. So I'm taking it easy at the moment, step by step.
Yes. Now that you mention it, I was feeling, when the pandemic started, I had this feeling that artists were trying to answer to give answers to the situation, and they were sharing images, and people all have had all these new projects going on, and then suddenly came a silence. I think that we all felt that we had to just take our times and understand what was happening. Also because we thought at first that the pandemic was going to be faster and was going to go through much faster than it actually is going through. So I have this feeling that all of us are taking time in a different way and feeling the time in a different way, especially as artists. It's very hard to give answers right now, right?
I don't think there are any answers at the moment. All you can do is just really live day by day and enjoy the small things that make you happy. You can't do more than that. We can't plan what to do in summer. I mean, we can plan, but who knows if it's gonna work? We don't know. So it's really it's a difficult time.
It is. So guys, we don't have any other questions here, but if you didn't share your question, and if you still want to know something about Tanya's work or about the exhibition, about the project A Distância Entre Nós, please send us an email. I will share the email address with you guys in the chat, and we're going to be happy to answer all of you. And please come to the exhibition. Go ahead, Tanya.
You can follow me on Instagram if you want to stay in touch. I'm typing my my Instagram name, and just add me there if you want.
Yes.
If you have questions or anything.
So thanks everyone for being here. We're super happy that we had all these people with us at 6 p.m. Brazilian time, because we know it's kind of like a tricky time to start a conversation, and we're very happy that all of you were with us. And if you guys want also, like people from Brazil, if you want a certificate of your participation in this conversation, please email us and we'll be happy to send you a certificate as well. Tanya, thanks again for being here, for sharing with us.
Thank you for everyone for being here. It was really, really nice. And thank you, Milena, and we stay in touch.
Yeah, we stay in touch. And I have another thing to say. We are gonna have 2 other talks that go around this project. One is gonna be with Moara Brazil. She's an indigenous person from Brazil, and she's gonna talk about how all these situations with family archives and go around her work. And also we have a conversation with Felipe Prando from Curitiba, and he's going to talk also about creative processes in photography. So yes, just follow us on Instagram and you guys are going to know about all these talks. They are all free. You just have to get the ticket as you got for this conversation. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.